All right, so Mark Dice today made my spider sense tingle. Now, generally, I like Mark. I like Mark because having worked with media literacy and the power of media and how influential it is and how even Satanists are using the media to normalize subhuman behaviors or anti-human behaviors or self-mutilation. I like Mark. I like Mark because most people are too coarse to see the subtle mind games that have been played on them, and they are psychologically the frog in the pot. So this is why I loved Mark. I worked with kids in inner city Patterson, New Jersey, to make music that was positive. Okay, this is my life. This is not hypocrisy. This is not pure theory. I literally understand, you know, the power of the arts. I'll give you a little example. She been in school for years, didn't pick a career, and now she club hop like she changed underwear. She come up belly naked like nothing to wear, and all the boys be calling her like baby come here. Then she start yelling like, man, I swear, if one of yous touch me, I'm gonna go there. And I said, where, by the officer? He don't really care, you don't belong to her. Now go and get a lawyer and give him all your money's worth so he can start to spoil you, her, not you, but his daughter. Daughter? Yeah, girlfriend, that's what I told ya. Now, that's talking about the girl who all these men in society are just trying to take care of their daughters, but she didn't have a father. And so she never really gets the love that she's looking for. So that's why she dresses this way. Now, come on, let me tell you, and I hope you heard. It started back before the very year of your birth. The 12-year-olds are doing it because Britney spurred. The parents on the planet be like, what on earth? What on earth? Square for fur. The vocals out your mouth be like, I don't care. They come into your concert just to cop a stir. Your flares rare? Yeah, sure. Chest pair. Derriere. They come to compare and not to share. Chest pair? Derriere. Don't know who you are? Despair. So in this way, I would try to get kids to think that positive lyrics or insightful lyrics was cool. So when I say I appreciated Mark Dice going into Operation Mockingbird and all this kind of stuff, however, I have worked with a certain kind of white guy that I found online talking shit about blacks. So to cozy up to other whites, sometimes my white friends will have to go into those dark places or places behind my back, and I know about it, where they say the N-word, okay? Every once in a while, you might hear somebody refer to you as the N-word, who, when we're in each other's face, we do God's work together, for quote unquote the greater good. And, he pretends that he's not disrespecting me or pushing me down behind my back. And I pretend like I'm not mad about it and I don't even know about it so that we can get God's work done. And that's the origin of my spidey sense. Because if I had to guess what kind of white guy Mark Dice is, he's that kind of white guy. I love him to death. Just like I love all my friends that we've done tremendous community service works together with. And we leave race untalked about because they're not going to show up anyway. They consume aspects of prejudice culture, prejudice mentality, and we're still not fit to talk about it. Okay, but I will tell you this, Mark. Mark, you said that this is a predominantly white nation. No. It's a predominantly Christian nation, okay? The subject is Christianity. The object or the vessel that was propagating Christianity, that got them blessed by God, is whiteness. Okay? Whiteness was only great because of Christianity. Therefore, you should take this warning. And every white guy that's just like Mark Dice needs to take this warning. Just as the first Israel was scattered for failing to cling to Christ, the second Israel, which is America, can get scattered because you motherfuckers won't learn this lesson. Christ, as far as what Christ said, is in every man. So the country became a haven for all people seeking some form of, or the closest form of government to the kingdom of heaven. And so by saying that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that every man is created equal. Okay. That is when their sentiments aligned with God's. Okay. They did not say that all white men this or all black men that. So even if they also had baked into their mentalities a pro-white concept, I guarantee you that God is only pro-white because whites were carrying the gospel. If you're not carrying the gospel, there's no reason in God's principle to be pro-white. So in order to keep that covenant with God, you can't just, in some lazy, let-go manner, go full racist because you think it's more cool nowadays to be full racist. It will never be cool to be full racist, not with God in Christ. So, like I said, don't get it twisted. This is not a white country. It's white because whites were the best examples of Christianity. That's why it was white. So if you lose the Christianity, you'll lose your mandate, you'll lose your blessing. Okay? And I'm telling you this like Jesus warned the first Israel not to be stupid. Well, we know that they were stupid. They killed the Lord of glory and they got scattered. What what more warning do you if you don't want to heed this, fine. I don't need dude, I'm already God's son. I don't need an attaboy from you. I don't need recognition from you. But if you watch this, you better keep an eye on your boy Dice, okay? Because if he's an avatar like Charlie was an avatar, um, you don't want to be accredited with committing a grand sin because Mark Dice was your avatar. Okay, so you need to sort through where your blessing comes from. Your blessing doesn't come from whiteness. The blessing of the white man didn't come from whiteness. The blessing of the white man came because for centuries you carried the hopes and the heart of Jesus Christ. And you were blessed because God needed you to spread it around the world. So he opened the seal of there was an industrial revolution which allowed you to do that. Okay, so I know that my race, actually I'm biracial, but my race is fucking tedious as fuck. You call us lazy. It's not so much laziness as scapegoating, right? So if you can find that black people are very productive. They're very productive, but in their mentality, they are disempowered because of blame. Okay, if your locus of responsibility, if the center of responsibility is out there at white people, then you disempowered yourself. So black people have a disempowering, self-disempowering mentality. Okay, we didn't even get into laziness. Okay, they have a self-disempowering mentality. It's propagated by themselves. It's propagated by the entire race history of race discussion. Okay, but they've become very tedious in scapegoating as a coping mechanism. Okay, and when people can blatantly see the crime statistics, the single parent statistics, they don't want to take responsibility. They'll say, I'll give you an example. Adam fucked it up for everybody, right? But then blacks love to say that the first man was African. Okay, so a black man fucked it up for everybody. You see, like that's a rational comment to make. But we're not talking about blame. Okay, God casts judgment. Who's to say that the years that they spent away from Israel, almost 1900 years that the Israelites stayed away from Israel because they were scattered, or whatever the time period, that's their sentence. When they were in captivity with Babylon, that was their sentence. They finished their sentence and God let them come back. So God is forbearing towards all kinds of people that served him, and God will be forbearing towards whites, and God will be forbearing towards America, because those people are dear to God's heart for having done a great work, having carried the baton through the centuries for God's sake. So I'm not against white people. I'm just telling you, if you don't understand that your privilege was not based on your skin, privilege was based on favor from God because you had done a very important thing as a race or as a continent, or your little European corner of the world was a bright spot on the globe for God because you carried and cherished Christianity. Don't go fuck it up being all like, oh, I can't wait till those black people are finally, their faces are mashed in the dirt or something like that. Because I'm telling you, God's not going to get down with that shit. Okay? All right. And another thing, while I'm burning your ass right now, you need to repent, if you call yourself conservative, for not fighting hard enough against what globalists had done to Europe. You're fucking pussies, okay? You should have learned a long time ago that you had the sovereign will to say, no, I don't give a fuck if you call me a racist. You can't come in here in droves and rape our daughters. So Europeans fucked up, okay? Are you all fucking stupid? Your whole fucking continent just got invaded with rapists, okay? And people that burned down Notre Dame, okay? So what the fuck you got to be proud of? Everybody needs to cling to God. If you have sovereign will of God, the sovereignty and a mandate from God, carry that shit out. But don't be stealing the glory of God's favored people from the mandate itself. It's not embedded in your fucking skin, okay? And thereby you say, oh, since you don't have this skin, I get to dump on you. Saying N-word in some cavalier way is get back for BLM types from the black community. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, sovereignty is a very tricky thing because it means you're responsible. And you are responsible. So when God is casting judgment on BLM types, stay humble. Stay humble. If you get up on your high horse and you think now is the white man's time, you're a fucking idiot. You are a fucking idiot. Okay? You say God is bringing righteousness. God is bringing light to dark places. Okay? and be happy for God. Instead, you're stupidly happy for whiteness. Okay. Now, do I think that about Mark Dice? Currently, I do. Currently, I do. I do think that he's one of those types of white people. But I love his work. So I wish he would, you know, I don't want him to incur the wrath of God. I don't. I don't. But I don't want America scattered because of a crime of white people getting it twisted, thinking that it was the skin color that their favor came from. Anyway.